This is Matt Greaney. Just wanted to do my review of the Brigance CIBS, which is the Comprehensive Inventory of Basic Skills 2. Um, little history about the CIBS. The Brigance has been around since the mid 70s. The original Comprehensive Inventory Basic Skills was created in 77. Uh, it was revised and came out in 1991 as the CIBS Revised with new elements. And since 1991, there has been a new edition of the CIBS, which is called the CIBS 2, which they released in 2010, which is the most recent one. They have a lot more options now as part of their catalog, but these are the three basic um, incarnations of the Brigance CIBS up to date. There are now parts of the CIBS. We have special education. Brigance has put out special education Brigance uh, books that include transition skills inventory of early development. So this would be kind of the earlier tests that we can start to see if kids are needing services early on, and then the CIBS 2, which I have in the center. That's the one that I am focusing on for this presentation. There's also, as part of the Brigance catalog, early childhood, which I spoke about for a little bit, but you can see over here, there's different screens, early childhood 1, 2, 3, and 4, looks like now. Brigance is offering an all-new Meet Head Start requirements and target instruction meet school readiness goal is what they're kind of marketing their new Head Start program as, and that looks like it's 3 screen programs as well. And these were all created by none other than Mr. Brigance himself. Passed away in 2007, was an advocate for his whole life. He was from, I think, Tennessee, down south somewhere. Um, but he is the man behind all the Brigance dynasty. The assessment tools, the one that I've focused on, are for reading, ELA. One I'm most familiar with is actually in math, which I use from the beginning of the school year to get an idea of where the kids are at, and also it gives me a present level of performance for an IEP meeting when we're discussing where a student is presently operating and where we're looking to get them to go. And also it helps me kind of get an idea of what skills they have in the moment of testing. The Brigance math skills assess number and operations, algebra, geometry, measurement, data analysis, and probability as you get up to the upper grade levels. On the left-hand side, the reading and ELA skills assessed are readiness, speech, listening, vocab, and comprehension, word recognition, oral reading, reading vocab and comprehension, word analysis, functional word recognition, spelling, writing, response to writing programs. So pretty in-depth program here for us to assess kids and try to find out where they're at. I'm going to speak to this later, but basically each of these tests take between about 45 to 75 minutes, depending on the test. I give my students a math test that takes, depending on how fast the student is, it's a math kind of quick reference. It takes about 30 minutes on average, I would say. But it all kind of depends on all the different tests. I haven't looked at all of these, so I'm not really sure 100%. But to quote from the publisher, the nearly 400 criterion reference assessments in the CIBS 2 make it easy to identify the PLOP, the present level of performance for students, and provide ongoing assessment for academic skills. Pre-K to grade 9. So these tests are for students the pre-K, which I spoke to, up to first year in high school. Normative summary about Brigance 2010 CIBS 2, which I'm focusing on, represents the standardization and validation data represents data from a U.S. population. Is Brigance says that the test is reliably given to students pre-K through grade 9, as I just said. Um, the sample data um, consisted of 1,121 children from 5 to 12 years old. You can see here, you want to look at the data, it looks like it's spread pretty evenly from 5 to 12. The location norming samples were collected from 6 sites in 4 regions in the north, central, south, and the west U.S. They tried to collect students from a variety of socioeconomic backgrounds and cultures just to kind of get an idea of what the norms would look like across populations. This is from the Brigance 2010 guide, page 29. Reliability and validity. The norm reference assessments have high internal consistency with an average reliability of 0.99 for reading and 0.95 for math. For me, that was interesting to see. I always thought of reading as being a little more subjective and math being a little more, kind of cut and dry, solid. You either got it or you don't. But it looks like the reliability is higher for reading. Validity scores range from as low as 0.2 to as high as 1.0 across tests. The high variance in some of these areas, I think, suggests that some students could be given the opportunity to take the assessment a couple times just to see if there's any consistency across the tests. If there's a huge range of scores, then you're probably looking at a test that maybe isn't as valid. I'm just thinking. Test reliability is given to students pre-K through grade 9 once again. Glimpse into scoring. So for the scoring, what I like about it is it's very cut and dry and easy for the most part, at least for the Brigance test that I've given. You basically circle, or like I put a check mark next to all the ones that are correct. This one looks like it's a little more in depth. The Brigance that I have for math is basically, did they get it right? Check, check. So you're getting a raw score of how many they have correct. And then you look at your score, your raw score, how many they got right, and you put it into a table, and they actually have an internet kind of source that you can put in the data, and it'll spit out a score from there. But you can get the age equivalents, grade equivalents, and with percentiles and quotients as well. So the grade equivalents are represented by a whole number and a decimal. So I just gave a kid a Brigance, and he was testing at 6 1/2 or 6.5, which means that he's halfway into 6th grade. That's where he is performing at. Kind of gives you a good idea if you're looking to kind of like determine what standards the kid should be working towards. I know every kid needs to be working towards their grade standard, but if you're thinking about a kid who's at the 4th grade level, you're going to be looking at totally different standards that they need to meet in addition to the ones that they need to meet at their current grade level. So it kind of gives me an idea if a kid's at 4th grade, we're going to have to be doing a lot of math fact practice and fraction, pre-fraction work. Kind of that just gives me a really nice glimpse into where the students are performing when I give the test. So accommodations and modifications. The test can be read verbally to a student who needs it to be read to them. It can be answered verbally or orally as well. They can tell you the answers. Because the CIBS is norm reference, the test should not be modified if you're looking to compare the scores to derive from the norm or the population data. So kind of got into this before, but the Brigance is pretty extensive nowadays. It's offered in Spanish. So there's a Brigance CIBS for Spanish speakers. The cost of the Brigance CIBS is not cheap. I think districts kind of, will invest in this. I think 1 out of 3 districts in the U.S. uses Brigance assessments to kind of get an idea of where their kids are and to organize how they're going to deliver the material to the kids. I mean, it's $339 for the classroom kit. I know that's way more than the budget. Luckily, we have the Brigance CIBS 2 at our school, so we share that as a special ed team. But in the CIBS 2, it includes CIBS 2 standardized assessment in a single convenient volume, standardization and validation manual, excuse me, 20 standardized record books, which we copy and kind of distribute that way. And you also get a durable canvas tote as part of that $339 price tag. You can, I guess if you wanted to, you could order more record books as well, but I think it's, just copy them on the copy machine. So, qualifications to administer: as a certified teacher, you can administer the CIBS without formal training. Publishers offer free web training video for those who need to polish up or get more confidence in it. You can see them here, they're all free. I have not watched these, but if one wanted to, you could go to the website. You just have to put in some information. It's free, an introduction, what it's all about, getting access to these videos, pretty much just a click away. Just go. I went to the website Curriculum Associates and basically looked for a tutorial or a training, and it linked me right up to that. So kind of to conclude, I think the Brigance CIBS 2 is awesome. I think it's great. I think for us as special educators, time is of the essence, and it's a quick and easy way for me to get a pulse on where the kid is operating at and what kind of skills they need to be working on. Throughout the day, it's kind of hard to find time to to do much other than the basic survival stuff. So for us to have a nice quick assessment, I think is key. Um, Basically, I plug in the scores either online and check the table, and I can get a good idea of where the student is operating. I can compare them to students at the same grade level. It's great for PLOP. We call them PLOPs, present level of performance, where I can go into an IEP meeting or right before an IEP meeting and tell the team where the student is operating with confidence. I think it's just a great place to start. As I said before, it doesn't take too much time, and basically I'll set up a kid with the Brigance. I've been doing the math one, and kind of just let them have at it for a little while in a nice quiet room, and then come back and I can score it anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes to get a present level for them, which is very helpful as time is of the essence in this game. And I think that's about it for me. I look forward to seeing everyone else's presentation, and thanks for watching. Bye.